let's get started. So, I've talked about two viewpoints. One, starting from functions visible. Two, higher purposes and alternatives. The third one, cause and effect. Okay, this is more of a traditional system thinking. Traditional system thinking. So some of you may know this already. Some of you may be very new to this. All right. Okay. So what we're talking today is a causal loop diagram. Okay, this is how you describe your cause and effect relations. And it's a cause and effects that we are going to identify. So let me give you the definition. This is a book from a Sturman. He is a business dynamics guru. I think he's from MIT. And this is here's what it says. A causal loop diagram consists of variables connected by arrows denoting the causal influences among the variables. Okay, I will explain this mathematical term in the layman's term in a few seconds. But this is what it looks like. Okay, this is what it looks like. But don't get scared, it's easy. So, here's two things you should know. There are two types of causal links. Okay, links. One is called positive causal link, and second one is called negative causal link. All right? And then there's another thing that you should be able to identify. There are two types of causal loops. Okay? One is reinforcing causal loop, and the other is balancing causal loop. I'll explain with the example soon. Let's start from causal links. Okay? I'll give you an example. Here's two variables we're looking at. Income is a variable, and income tax is another variable. All right? And in the causal loop diagram or causal links, you're only looking at two variables at a time. And you need to imagine all the other variables are still not moving. Okay? Let's start. Income and income tax. Let's take a look at these two variables. And let's imagine your income went down. Uh-oh. Right? Your income went down. Then tell me, what happens to your income tax? Goes down. Right? Your income's up. What happens to your income tax? Going up. Right. If it goes the other way around, let me know how to do that. But it doesn't, right? So your income and income tax moves in the same direction, right? So that is a positive link, okay? Because it works in the same direction. Okay, let's take a look at the second one. Spending is a variable, and then the bank balance is a second variable. Everything else is still. People are already laughing. Good. Okay, let's say your spending became less. What happens to your bank balance? Goes up, right? Your spending become bigger. What happens to your bank balance? Goes down, right? So these two are moving in different directions. That's a negative link. All right? So don't talk the impressions because spending and bank balance that sounds negative. No. It's not positive feeling or negative feeling. It's not that. It's about the variable moving in the same direction or not. All right? Okay, good. Let's identify some causal loops. All right? And we start from this one. The number of babies. Okay, that's first variable. And the population. Okay? Let's be careful about this. So what happens when number of babies decrease? And the population decreases, right? Okay? So the other way around. When the babies increase, what happens to the population? Increase. So the link is positive. All right? We confirm that. Okay, let's take a look at the other way. All right? Because it's directional. The direction matters. Let's take a look at the population. When population decreases, the number of babies decrease. Population increases, number of babies will increase. So again, it's a positive link. Alright? So now we found there's a circle, or the loop. Alright? Let's start a scenario. Okay, scenario. There was some event or some incident. One day, number of babies started to decrease. Decrease. What happens to the population? Decrease, okay? And then the population decreases, the number of babies? Decrease. And then what happens to the population? Decrease. What's going on? They're going to die out, right? Unfortunate. We call it Japan. Right, probably. Or, okay, let's give another scenario. The number of babies suddenly increase. What happens to the population? Increase. And population increases? The baby increase. And then the population? Increase. Right. We call it Africa.
India.
Okay? Or India. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for... So, this loop is identified as reinforcing causal loop, right? It does not stop moving in one direction. It won't stop. Okay? So don't get it wrong. It's not positive move. It's just, it can just keep increasing or keep decreasing as well. It depends on how these variables starts moving. Alright? I'll get that to that later. So let's go chickens, alright? We're enough with babies. Number of chicken, and there's the number of chicken crossing road. Okay? Number of chicken crossing road. Okay? Let's see the relation. Chicken increase. Okay? And there's a certain ratio of chickens that try to cross a road. So number of chicken increase, what happens to the number of chicken that try to cross a road? Increase. Increase, right? So when the chicken decrease, what happens to the number of the chickens that crosses the road? Decrease. Right? So this is a positive relationship. Let's hear the other way around. This is the number of chickens tries to cross the road. Okay? And then this is the number of chicken. When the number of chicken try to cross the road increase, they can't. Because there's a traffic. Okay, there's a traffic. So when this increases, the number of chicken decreases. So sad, I know. And this wasn't made by me, this was from the book, okay? Don't blame me for killing chickens. But when the number of chickens crossing road decreases, then it will help the chickens to increase. So that's the negative causal link. Alright? So now we have a loop with a plus and a minus. So let's try the scenario. One day, you start to have the chicken number decrease. Okay? What happens to the number of chicken that try to cross the road? Decrease, right? You have a decrease in the brave chickens. Okay? And then what happens? What effect that have to the chicken? It increases. Right? So it tries to balance, right? So chicken start to increase or the decrease, and then the road crossing will decrease at the same time, but it will try to increase the number of chicken. So if you draw a graph of this circle, the loop, then the chicken number will gradually become less, but it will saturate at some point. Okay, let's give another scenario. All of a sudden, number of chickens started to increase. What happens to the brave chickens? You get more chickens trying to cross the road. Okay? And if you have more chickens trying to cross the road, then you get less chickens. Right? If you have less chickens, then so there's the opposite effect will happen. If you put the graph on the chicken number, then it will try to increase, but because of this effect, it will saturate at some point. It will flat out. Alright? So this is called balancing loop. Okay? And it's easy to identify because all you have to do is just count the number of minuses. If you have even number minus, then it's always reinforcing causal loop. If it's an odd number or zero number, then it's always a balancing causal loop. Alright? It's very easy. Okay? Alright. And let's do the names. So, okay, help me identify causal links, okay? Overtime hours and productivity. Okay, let's take a look. Overtime hours and productivity. If you take a look at these two relationships, what is it? So if you have overtime less, the overtime hours decrease, what happens to the productivity? Increase. If you have more overtime hours, then what happens to the productivity? Decrease. Right. So it's a minus relationship. Okay? So let's take a look at productivity and flawless works. Oh, I already showed you. Okay. So the productivity, when productivity goes up, flawless works will increase. Right? When you have a lower productivity, then flawless work will decrease. Right? So the plus relationship. Okay. Next, flawless work and complaints from clients. Okay. If you have a flawless works decrease, complaints from clients will decrease. If it goes up, this one goes up. Unfortunate. Oh, I'm sorry. If flawless work goes up, then it goes down, right? Okay, sorry about that. And the complaints from clients and on-schedule work progress. Okay, if you have less number of complaints from clients, less number, on-schedule work progress will increase, right? If you have more complaints, then your on-schedule work progress will decrease. Exactly. So, here is the loop completing. On-schedule work progress and the overtime hours. If your on-schedule work progress decreases, then the overtime hours decrease, exactly. Oh, decrease? Wait, on-schedule work progress decreases. Overtime hours increase, exactly. If it's the other way around, let me know how to do that. On-schedule work progress increases, then overtime works decrease, exactly. So, is this, what loop is this? Reinforcing or balancing? It's reinforcing because 1, 2, 3, 4. It's an even number minuses, so it'll cancel out. It'll cancel out, so it will reinforcing. Let's give a scenario, okay? One day, you have a less overtime hours. You start to have a decrease in overtime hours. Decrease, okay? What happens to your productivity? It'll increase, right? And once you have an increase in productivity, you have a flawless work increase, right? Because there's a positive relationship. You have a flawless work increase, then you have more or less complaints from clients, right? Then if it decreases, then on-schedule work progress goes up, right? If you have more on-schedule work progress, then your overtime hours goes down. And then what happens? Your productivity goes up. And it's a good loop, right? Let's give another scenario. The real scenario. Okay? Overtime hours goes up. What happens to your productivity? Decreases, right? And your productivity decreases, flawless work decreases. Flawless work decreases and you get more complaints, right? And then you're getting more complaints and your on-schedule work progress goes down. Yes, right. Goes down. And on-schedule work progress goes down and you have more overtime hours. So I'm naming this a businessman loop or my loop. Alright? So you just found out that. So let's talk about leverage point. Okay? So you're stuck in this loop. You're stuck in this loop. And you want to do something about it, right? Or at least you want to turn this into the right direction. Okay? What would you do? What variables would you target to intervene? To do something about? What's that? Complaint? You're gonna shoot down the complaints? Well, maybe, yes. Eventually, yes. But it's difficult because it's about them complaining. You had another idea?
Yeah, overtime hour.
Overtime hour. You try to kill the overtime hour. You try to decrease that with your effort. Okay, I would say so. The same. Maybe Red Bull? Yeah, maybe. but maybe not. So, there are certain points that you can intervene and some points that you cannot intervene, right? Intervene meaning you can do something about it. It's very difficult to do. So, identifying the loop help you to find where to intervene, okay? What to focus. So that's the interesting part about this causal links and causal loops. And in the academic papers, it looks like this. So, your world is not simple as this, right? Because there are so many variables interconnected. So this is a system. This is oversimplification of a system. So if you want to try to address something in a very systemic point of view, then you probably need to carefully, draw something like this and find where to intervene. This one is a great example by Aki Bosch. He's a professor at Adelaide University. That they were working on the Vietnam case. It's a biosphere at the Katoba Island. Am I saying that right? Katoba Island? I don't know. It's in Vietnam. No. Okay. Maybe I'm saying it wrong because the Vietnamese expert says so. But there's the beautiful island that they want to rely on the travelers' expense. But here's the links. Here's the causal loops that they found out. And then they wanted to invite the travelers, but if they found out if they invite travelers without much plan, then there is not much money spent, and then it goes to the local people, because a lot of hotels are run by UK companies, and a lot of things were not bought locally. So that's what they found out. So the leverage point to address that issue, what they focused. The Professor Bosch and then the local government, they focus on the education of people to address this issue. They found out the leverage point is somewhere around here. They had to educate local people to get things rolling. Okay, so that's how they identify their target. So this is a very interesting example. Okay, so causal loop analysis in a design process. It's a practice. I'm not going to do this practice. Try to create causal loop diagram with multiple loops, and then be careful with causal links. So depopulation of Japan can be identified with causal loops. Do you think so? Probably. Yeah, because we cannot stop this for years and years. So it must be in some loop, and we can do not much about it. That's very difficult, right? So here's what I want you to try to do. Almost doing the two work at the same time. So I want you to try to come up with countermeasure for depopulation of Japan. Okay? So what I'm asking, I'm kind of getting off from what we've been doing so far, because this one is much more easy to understand the concept. Okay? So what I'm asking is try to come up with a causal loop for depopulation first. That's step one. And then try to come up with a countermeasure for depopulation. Okay? Okay, there are some numbers that you can intervene, and there are some variables you cannot intervene. Alright, we will see. Okay, so this is just for your exercise. I want you to try to draw or analytically draw this, and then try to design the solution around it. Okay? I don't know. Date matching service? Yeah. You'll see. So you just like this businessman route. So I find that this will be my target. How should I intervene in this point? What can I do? All right? Or maybe a few points I can try to intervene. Okay? All right, so take out the new sheet of paper. Question? No? Okay. Yes? This slide, or this slide?
Oh, the simple one, that one.
Okay.
Straight. Let's say if I don't point out the overtime at the leverage point, can I identify some other, let's say like the forest work?
Yeah, you could do that. But this is happening by chance. I mean, this is very difficult to, tackle.
How can you assess that? Because,
Oh, it depends on what kind of work you do, probably.
Right.
Yes. But by looking at these, probably this is the easiest to tackle. It depends on the context, of course. So I see. There is no absolute one point for intervention you can discuss. Okay.
Thanks.
Yep.
Okay, second.
Yes.
I'm sorry for too many
No,
questions.
it's okay.
That loop is perfect under one condition.
What loop? This loop?
The loop concept
Yeah.
is perfect under one condition.
Yeah.
There is linear effect between the different variables.
Sure.
So if this increases in that amount, the other is going to increase or decrease whatever the kind of the loop in the same amount. But that's not practical.
Exactly. So I wanted to, after this exercise, I wanted to, kind of, confess that this will never work. Because this is conceptual. Okay? Yes. Because how do you find the scientific evidence of these two being absolutely a cause and effect, not just a correlation? How can you do that? There's a two relationship, correlation and cause and effect. Did you know in the full moon we have more murders? Right? So it's a cause and effect.
It's a correlation.
Exactly, it's a
Experiment,
correlation.
so-
But do you know the word lunatic? The lunatic is following after this correlation, this weird myth, so to say, that we've been experiencing since 17th century, that in the full moon or new moon, we have more murders. It's true, so it's statistically true, but scientifically unknown. Okay? So it's a statistics that, tells us the correlation of two variables. But it's very difficult to prove that's the cause and effect. So then, let me go forward. What's the use of causal loop? Yeah? So this is for you to plan, okay? So for example, you kind of guesstimated this, right? Estimation and a guess. And then you say, hey, let's try to do something about the overtime hours, okay? And you implement some countermeasure and see what number changes, okay? And you may learn, hey, there's another variable we were missing. Then you update this. So this is not absolute finding, but it's going to be a living document. You're going to keep updating. Then you plan better next time. So that's how it's used.
So it's a way for decomposing the factors into drivers and driven.
Exactly, because you're a designer, you're not an analyst, okay? But there is a whole group of people trying to do this as a science. It's called part of a system science. And once in 1980s, people tried to, understand the world population dynamics using this. Oh, good luck. They're never going to find out, probably. They're going to spend another 1,000 years trying to, find the evidence, but probably they won't. But this is so practical for us, like a designer, right? We don't care what the truth is, as long as we can design tomorrow, right? And move our foot away, towards our ultimate goal. So this will really help you to understand what to do next. Yeah? So that's a very practical way of using causal loop. But thanks for asking. Okay, let's see how you can help from Prime Minister Abe. Okay, let's go. I'll give you, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes. So again, you need to draw a causal loop for a depopulation and then start talking about countermeasures.
Income. So, if you have more income, you are more than so you have more GDP, so you have more less yes.
I just come up with the depopulation, like the elements that I can think of.
More income, so more population, less population. No, because India is exactly opposite. People say India is so highly populated because India is so
Because
they don't have anything else to do.
Our time. Our time.
Very serious. Is it very common to have foreigners in Japan? 5 years ago? So this is his last 3-4 years. Because one of the ways to counter depopulation, how Europe is doing, is to invite foreigners to
Number of kindergartens.
It's a big issue in Japan. So that's what my discussion I understand. I understand. I totally understand. See, 3 years from now, the majority population in France is going to be so. 3 years from now, the majority population in France is going to be yes, that's a fact.
Yeah, so like the immigration
There is nothing wrong with the religion, but the point is, so there are no French anymore.
yeah, and travelers
Tourists will use it, but not the
Citizens. Time support system child very serious. The level of seriousness is very dedicated to your very dedicated. Is it true for no, it's not about children, it's about very serious dedicated to
it's overtime. Yeah, they're overworking. Yes, per child. To raise a child till high school.
that is nothing. That's cheap. Yes. My kindergarten kid, I'm paying 120,000 yen for a kindergarten 1 year. 120,000 yen. Per year. Per month I'll go back. That's kindergarten, mind you.
So 10,000 yen per month.
For kindergarten.
Kindergarten.
Kindergarten. That's the minimum. It's not the minimum.
Private kindergarten. Yeah. Public it costs to 20,000 yen.
Per month. Kindergarten.
kindergarten.
But the difference is maybe
20 million dollars. 20 million gain for raising a child is getting.
for every private school, elementary school, junior school, and high school.
It's just a fee, right? It's just a fee.
That's nothing. That's like
Living expense.
I don't it's not very high. Tokyo private elementary
that's in rupees. I'm sure it is.
That's the one of the
This is just graduated engineering.
100,000.
That's
No, that's 9 million.
9 million, yeah, 9 million yen Yeah, and plus for 6 years of the
This is just education, food, clothing, books. And this is not
We should high living costs. Getting married is hard.
that's one
I pay a lot of money. Well, they went enough to support families. But sometimes they're getting lower income and higher, cost of living.
inputting number of foreigners coming in.
Actually, this is effective. That's going to be. That's what
That too is this population. Yeah, population. So, increasing the population of the US, they have these many number of visas they granted. And that two things that happen. Of course, the same discussion I was happening in Japan, the same discussion happening in US, the same discussion happening specifically for us. So, UK they stopped giving work permits to anybody outside UK around 3 years ago, but they restarted because it negatively affected the economy in a bad way. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Two reasons. Why? Because number one, what is the aging population? Number of people above the age of 60 in Japan.
Last RP is around
He's about 60. In the entire world, we are 130 billion people. 60% under the age of 50. That's it. 60% under the age of 50. So, and the world across is aging. That's why people we are too populated in one place. Needed. You increase the number of population coming in. You have population. You want to depopulate. You want more population to be staying over here, right? You bring in Indians, you will have population. Don't worry about it.
So what we did so far is
The This is plus. Birth rate?
But then, babies. In general, we're thinking marriage equals to birth rate. In general, if you dig in, yes, there are so many people choosing to have babies without marriage.
Every couple has more than two kids, no, after maybe 1
So if the cost of education is reduced, will the number of people having, number of married couple having birth rate increase? Is it just education cost? Is there, please correct me if I'm wrong, is that effect of the nuclear explosion years ago and there are people having some anomalies in Japan? No. I'm saying, is it true that there are some anomalies in the kids who are born now because of that nuclear explosion? No, right?
I believe that I love children because of the radiation.
No, I don't think so. Because is that a reason for decoupling? No.
We need to have all of these things.
So in India, if the income increases, they only have one child. If the income is less, they have more child. That's what Indian story. They don't have anything else to do. This is the fact.
In Japan, I don't know. Do more rich people have more children? Not really.
Yeah, so
Maybe less income.
More children.
yeah, so this is negatively related, right?
Or maybe we don't have to put it in such.
I think you have to.
Do I have to?
I think there is some relation.
Then you're not just going to
Maybe also the number of
What is the usual house size? 2 BHK, 2-bedroom kitchen hall?
People, 100 square meters.
So that's 2-bedroom hall kitchen.
3 bedrooms.
Usually 3 bedrooms. So
2 or 3.
3 bedroom, and you usually have an elderly person in the family, right?
Yeah, they're not living together.
It depends on the city.
So that's another relationship. When there is a when people stay in joint family, they usually tend to have more kids.
So that's why I put on a number of family members.
When the seniors are staying with the family, they usually tend to have more kids. There is a very simple reason that there is somebody who's when you are working, there is somebody who takes care of you. I mean that's the Indian story.
Finish the one sample first, because otherwise it gets so number of mothers help me out here. So number of married couples will increase then firstly. Well, we can have like other things Well, what you said, number of family members or number of babies.
Yes. So that's birth rate, right? Number of babies is the birth rate. It's the same thing.
Yeah, they do not give up.
And this is negative, right? This also minus.
It all includes the winter. Yeah, so you cannot put this one.
You look at the bigger.
This one, we have this one.
Yeah, it will be that complex. It will be that
But
complex.
we can do complex one too. We can do complex one too, but we need to make a one at least. Well, this is jumping too much, right? So it's like
Overtime, no time for family.
no
For family, time for family. So overtime is time for family.
time for intimacy.
Less of income.
High pressure.
No, I mean, you can put in pressure as much as you can if it is not converted into money. People,
You guys not paying overtime, right?
We get paid. Yeah.
so you get paid for overtime, right? So, but then if you don't want to do overtime, you can say no.
It's a rule.
Hidden culture. Hidden culture.
But my company didn't pay.
It depends on the company.
So you cannot say no. I mean, I have to go home, I have some family.
That is more priority.
Then family? Oh. You should ask your boss why am I living. Higher purpose, remember?
Okay, let's just make it maybe something jumping. Overtime, not enough. This is a minus.
Here. You do overtime why? Because you can quit that job. You can't be
How do you find another job?
You don't have LinkedIn and stuff over here? You don't have LinkedIn?
We have.
This is not the only solution we have.
We have monster.com.
Okay, you have a lot of population. You have a lot of time. People like to run the companies and don't get hired.
But then you can hire on different jobs from your company's website, company's office. They don't do that.
Internet is different. I mean, internet.
Okay, try to talk about countermeasures too. Hey, people, listen. I know you're doing the big analysis, but try to countermeasure the depopulation. I want you to try to stop the depopulation. So talk about that too. How you can do this, right? Maybe some of you have not found the loop yet, but still try to talk about it.
Give them more holidays.
With the total things that you found.
How many national holidays do you have? That's it? So you Sundays is off, right? For sure. And why are you working?
You have to.
I'm supposed to be working today, tomorrow, and yesterday. But I don't think
So why are you here?
Because I used to pay me.
No, you're here because you want to earn more, right? You want to get an STM degree. You want so why? Because you want more money, right?
not because of the income, but what I want to do.
So if you want to do whatever you want to do and you don't get paid, it's fine.
Depends if I enjoy a lot and if I can keep my income.
As long as you can eat, living your life.
I don't want to be rich. I'm not like a money hungry. Like I want money. I want money. But then happiness is not money. The more you have money, so not really.
But then you are here because somewhere down the line you want to do something that you love to do and also have
That would be nice.
and also have this. So this is one of the motivators at least, right?
But it doesn't really help.
So if you have a lot of money and you are so rich, you don't have anything else to do, then you don't mind. Then raising a child might not be an issue because the cost of having a baby might be an issue.
It's wonderful.
If I have a super rich, maybe I will have a baby.
Yeah, so
No, me, yeah. Because like if I like me right now, like I'm married and now I don't have a baby yet, but I cannot raise my kids a lot of numbers in Japan because everything is so expensive. But if I have money, then I can buy a huge house and I can raise kids.
you can have all the
Yeah,
domestic
and
help in the
if
world.
wants to go study abroad, I can don't have a small salary to pay.
So then that's a factor.
But the problem is in order to get rich, you have to
Or you get married to a rich man.
And don't worry about his looks.
Company has to change the standard. Companies have to offer better salary. That would
even
help.
working on the nation politics.
So
More relaxed time. This is like a stress test. It's like affecting like moments of less stress life. That's what.
In Japan, its average age is marriage quite late.
Maybe later 20s, I think.
so that should be early. Yeah, And that should be earlier. So, marriageable age in India for women is 18 and for men is 21.
Everybody's 18.
So, but they don't get married at that age, but that is officially allowed.
In Japan it's 16.
Female and male.
So, but then people in India usually don't get. I was very early married. I was 24 when I was married, and my wife was 23 when they got married. I'm like the first person in my entire gang who got married. We have a bunch of friends. I was the first person to get married. And the last guy who got married was recently. He was 30. So, 34? Can there be something done for people to get married early?
Finding a good partner.
I'll tell you why. You get married early, you get a lot of pressure on yourself. You get a lot of pressure on yourself early, you work very hard, and you reach a certain level of
Please have a seat.
settling down early. And then you have time for kids.
Okay, which team has a solution for our Prime Minister? Yeah, we're going to his place. Oh, he's probably occupied with some other stuff right now. But so who has a great solution for Prime Minister? Okay, all right. Let's hear from Aishari's team. Give her a microphone. So what's the okay, I don't want you to go over all the loops, but tell me the leverage point and what would you do? Suggest to do.
Giving more opportunities and facilities for women. For example, the maternity leave should be longer and fully paid. So, and providing childcare services at the office itself.
Okay, and that'll eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Eventually, okay.
Yeah.
I think that's already been tried. I mean, what's that? Yes, Prime Minister seems to be working on that. Okay, so
one of the part of Abenomics.
oh, right. Is there any other try? Okay, let's hear from one more. Okay.
Stop oral contraceptions.
Okay.
No, not just.
Did I hear that right or?
Oral contraception.
Prevent all contraception. Is that right? Do you guys understand? Because I can understand it.
Okay. And to
In the form-
enhance.
To enhance birth rate.
Right. Okay. Yes, I think you're saying it safely.
I was trying to say it safely.
Okay. Yes, you successfully done it. Okay. Prevent, you said. Can we?
Ban all the drugs.
Well, I'm not getting any details, but can or cannot? It's difficult, maybe.
Oral contraceptive pills, yes, you can prevent it because you can make a law whereby
Right. Everyone obeys law in their bedrooms, of course.
No. In this sense, only doctors are able to prescribe oral contraceptive pills. So if you have a law that prevents doctors from distributing oral contraceptive pills to all women, I'm sorry, I just had to say this, then you guys probably had a better chance of increasing birth rate in Japan.
Okay. Or no activity at all. Right? Well, no, I'm just saying, right?
Come on, Japanese work so hard, you gotta give them some form of entertainment, right? Just be looking at their games every day, and pachinkos.
Right. You have a, yeah. So I'm just kidding with you. But thank you. But So, okay, that was maybe a, maybe an option for intervention. But is it easy to execute? Maybe very difficult. Maybe somebody decided, hey, we should increase the birth rate. Can you really intervene that point? By making law to have a sex? Well, very difficult, okay? So theoretically, in your paper, it works. But in the real world, it's very difficult. And the only thing we can do is maybe increase the number of kindergarten or the place that women can get help, okay? And I think all the government who's suffering the same issue is doing that to some extent, of course. It's not enough, obviously. So what I wanted you to learn from this is, okay, one thing, it's kind of difficult to figure out the loops, right? You find a lot of links, right? And it's obvious that this phenomena is going on forever. So there must be some kind of loop that your gut says, but you cannot identify it. Therefore, you cannot intervene correctly. If you can identify the loop, then you probably may be able to intervene in a better way. But it's even difficult just to find out what the loop is. Okay? And the second, once you find out, you think you find out the loop, there's only few points that you can actually intervene. Right? The points that this team pointed was a weak leverage point. It will work eventually if it was pushed for 150 years. Maybe. Maybe. And your leverage point may be difficult to make it happen, right? So these are very typical case with the leverage point. So what I really wanted you to try to do is, I'm not going to do this, is the exercise on your idea, okay? So in your idea, you want to keep the good loop running so that you will have a repeated customer or repeated user that's satisfied, right? So think about this. I'm not going to do the exercise, but you have to design your desirable causal loop around your solution, okay? Otherwise, if your causal loop is not there, then your solution will die in a few years, maybe. If you can design your causal loop carefully around or within your solution, then we call it's a sustainable solution, right? So that's what really interesting. It's really interesting to see, just to try to find out how can you create cause and effect that goes around your solution, okay? This is very difficult, it's very hard, okay? Okay, so, and then, of course, just to discuss this, and it'll give you a lot of insight. Even though you might not end up finding a loop, a beautiful loop, but just discussion around your solution about cause and effect, it will trigger you a new questions. Hey, we should probably look at this direction. Hey, we should probably really think about this, variable to make our solution better. Okay? So I did not do it with your idea because I thought it's going to be just too chaotic. So I just wanted to, give you a good feeling of cause and effect, what it sounds like and what it feels like. But if you have a chance, try to do it with your project, whatever you're thinking. Because if you can put in the good loop, design a good loop around your solution, ta-da, you have the sustainable solution. Okay? Sustainable solution, but very difficult. All right? But you always want to care about the cause and effect around your solution. That's very important. That's another aspect of looking at your solution as a system in terms of cause and effect. Okay? But here's a few things. So in many cases, it's not easy to find a causal links. Okay? Even a causal link. For example, can somebody draw me a causal link or loop that Apple's domination of smartphone domain? It's obviously happening, and it keeps on going so far. So there must be some kind of link or loop, right? Do you think maybe the smartest scientists or economists cannot build this, right? Because there's no way we can find the real truth behind this. But, we can try at least. But it's very difficult. And it often requires maybe diligent fieldwork, careful investigation, and flexible logical thinking and some more activities to find causal loops, right? So, and of course it's you cannot prove it right, just like we discussed before we do this. And the systematic thinking and innovative ideation is often a key for designing a causal loop for your solution. Okay, so it's just the message that I told you. All right, have fun? Good. All right, let's take a break. Let's take a 10-minute break, and we're going to cover the final part. I know it's getting late.